Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us, because today we're breaking down a feeling that can be, well, incredibly overwhelming and honestly, entirely primal. We're talking about lust. But instead of just letting it control us, we're going to map it out. By breaking this intense, crazy physical and emotional longing into a predictable biological sequence, we can actually protect our mental well-being and make way smarter choices in our relationships.
Okay, let's dive into this. Why do we so often fall for an illusion? Like, why do we consistently mistake the intoxicating idea of a person for who they truly are in reality? It happens to almost everyone, and man, it feels completely out of our control. But, as we're going to uncover today, it's really just biology pulling the strings behind the scenes.
To understand exactly how that works, here is our roadmap for the mind. We're going to trace the journey of lust through 5 distinct stages: anatomy of an attraction, spark to infatuation, the obsession trap, disillusionment, and finally, resolution.
This perfectly lays out the 5 chronological stages we're about to explore. It gives us a crystal clear path forward through what usually feels like just total chaos. So let's start right at the top.
Stage 1. Anatomy of an attraction. Picture this. You're across the room, you lock eyes, and suddenly you literally can't look away. It's instantaneous. The chemical culprit behind this? Dopamine. It floods your brain upon that initial physical attraction, making your neural pathways light up like a Christmas tree. Now, I really want to stress here, this stage is completely surface level. It is entirely driven by pure primal biology. There's absolutely zero logic happening right now.
And because of that massive dopamine rush, your body reacts instantly. According to the experts at the Cleveland Clinic, you might experience muscle tension, a quickened heart rate, faster breathing, flushed skin. I'm rushing through these because they happen so incredibly fast in real life. This physiological spark can last anywhere from just a few minutes to several hours. And get this, it might trigger every single time you see the person you desire.
Moving right along to stage 2, spark to infatuation. All right, the fire is officially lit, and your emotions are absolutely skyrocketing. Enter norepinephrine. This is the hormone that releases during infatuation, providing that electric, butterflies in your stomach feeling. And this brilliantly illustrates why every single text they send you or every fleeting glance they give you across the room feels like a literal jolt of electricity during this phase.
Since your brain is basically swimming in a chemical soup at this point, your imagination goes into absolute overdrive. You start imagining your first trip together, dreaming of a wedding, maybe even mentally planning your future kids after knowing them for, exactly 1 week. But be super careful here. These intense fantasies trick us into mistaking thrilling infatuation for true love. Remember, true love requires actual time and genuine understanding, while this stage is just thriving purely on mystery and excitement.
Now, we hit stage 3, the obsession trap.
Okay, hold on. Everything feels amazing right now, but we need to bring things to a screeching halt. This right here is the massive, dangerous pitfall where most people get stuck. Stage 3 is the tunnel vision stage where lust completely takes the wheel. It acts almost identically to an addictive drug on the brain's reward centers. You develop this exhilarating, all-consuming focus on just one person, creating an intense, undeniable craving for more.
There's a really crucial saying to remember here. You're often falling for the idea of someone, not who they truly are. And why does this happen? Well, alongside that dopamine, you're experiencing huge surges of hormones, testosterone in men and estrogen in women. These surges amplify your focus in your drive to such an extreme level that you might completely overlook their flaws and just willfully ignore glaring differences between the two of you.
So the crucial point is, why do we stay trapped? It's because the fantasy offers this intoxicating escape. It feels incredibly safe in its imagined perfection, and frankly, it can even mask your own insecurities. Reality, on the other hand, that means confronting uncertainty. It brings the risk of disappointment and requires genuine, scary vulnerability. It's just so much easier to stay tucked away in the safety of obsession than to face the vulnerability of a real emotional connection.
Which brings us to stage 4, disillusionment, facing reality.
To build something that actually lasts, we have to slow down and take a cold, hard look at reality. The dazzling glow of the honeymoon phase inevitably gives way to the sobering light of day. You really have to ask yourself the tough question: are you truly compatible, or was it just a chemical high? Let's be honest, the fizzling out of those fireworks, it can feel deeply disappointing. But I promise you, going through this is an absolutely necessary step for your personal growth.
To understand how we survive that disappointment, we have to look to another biological shift:
Enter oxytocin. This is the bonding hormone that steps in during disillusionment to gracefully shift your focus from pure physical attraction to a genuine, deep connection. But here is the catch. For oxytocin to actually do its job, you have to be completely willing to look beyond the surface. You must actively confront the honest truth of your relationship.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Stage 5, resolution, love or leaving.
This is a profound turning point that, honestly, very few people actually reach, mostly because they get so tangled up back in the obsession trap. But once the sexual craving is satisfied and the heavy haze of lust finally clears, you're faced with two distinct paths. Path 1 is a deepening connection. The haze clears and your intense sexual desire transforms into true love and deep emotional intimacy. Path 2 is a dissolving bond. The cracks start to show, you realize the bond was built purely on physical attraction or fantasy, and it inevitably ends.
But the ultimate takeaway is this. Both of these outcomes offer vital growth. Whether you build a foundation for a lasting connection or you find the freedom to let go and move on, you have won. Surviving these 5 stages and reaching either of these resolutions results in immense emotional maturity. You didn't just stay hooked on a chemical high. You actually did the hard work.
So I want to leave you with a provocative thought. Which stage are you in right now? And are you ready to take the next step? I challenge you to analyze your own relationships using the biology and psychology you've just learned in this explainer. The more you understand the stages of lust, the better equipped you're going to be to step out of the illusion and find something truly real. Keep learning, keep analyzing, and I'll catch you on the next one.